15 cities across the United States are quietly falling apart, and almost nobody's talking about it. Behind the bright real estate ads and rising skylines, a dangerous storm is forming. This isn't a rumor. It's a slow-motion financial unraveling that's already pushing thousands of families out of their homes. The headlines say correction, but people living it, they call it something else, a collapse in disguise. So what's really happening in America's once unstoppable housing market? Let's break down the numbers, the policies, and the hidden chain reaction reshaping entire communities. More than 275,000 people are projected to leave the United States' hottest housing zones by the end of 2025. That's not a guess. That's based on population and migration data, showing one of the sharpest outflows since the 2008 meltdown. Why? Because owning a home has gone from a dream to a debt trap. Average sale prices have fallen by $40,000 to $75,000 from pandemic highs in several regions. Inventory has exploded. 177,000 plus homes are sitting unsold. A $350,000 mortgage that cost $1,475 a month just a few years ago now eats up more than $2,300 at today's rates. That's an extra $825 every month, the cost of a second car payment, or an entire grocery bill for a family of 4. Worse, insurance premiums, once an afterthought, are now the new killer. Some households pay $10,000 or more per year just to stay covered. If this sounds unsustainable, that's because it is. But these numbers only tell half the story. The real problem started deeper, in the insurance industry itself. And that's where the unraveling truly begins. Insurance used to be boring, something you never thought about until disaster struck. Now it's the epicenter of a housing crisis. In 2022, 6 major insurance carriers collapsed. They simply couldn't keep up with rising risks, lawsuits, and claims. When those companies folded, homeowners were forced into the state-run safety net, Citizens Property Insurance. But that safety net came with holes and a price tag no one was ready for. Premiums skyrocketed. The average homeowner saw increases of 30% or more in a single year, while coastal properties faced bills that rival their mortgage payments. In some U.S. cities, annual insurance costs now top $12,000, and the trend shows no signs of slowing. Reports claim that certain neighborhoods saw policy renewals jump from $3,000 to over $20,000 within 2 years. That's not just a financial headache, that's a breaking point. For many, it's the moment they decide to sell, move, or simply walk away. The affordability crisis isn't just about mortgage rates anymore. Insurance is the new housing killer, and it's hitting both the poor and the wealthy alike. But wait till you see how policy changes turn this storm into a full-blown flood. Because what came next caught entire neighborhoods off guard. On July 31st, 2024, FEMA's new flood zone maps quietly went into effect, and overnight, thousands of homeowners woke up in what the government now called high-risk zones. Imagine living in your house for 20 years, never seeing a drop of flood water, and suddenly your lender says you must buy flood insurance within 30 days or risk default. That's not a rumor. That's the exact notice tens of thousands of Americans received. In cities like Miramar, Pembroke Pines, and Hollywood, massive portions of land were reclassified. One report said nearly 90,000 properties got hit with the new requirement in just one county. For some, flood insurance premiums ranged from $1,200 to $3,000 a year, on top of their already inflated property insurance. And under FEMA's new risk rating 2.0 system, those rates can rise up to 18% every year until they hit the full risk price. Think about that. You can't fight it. You can't move your house. You just pay more forever. For retirees and fixed income families, it's a nightmare. And this single government update triggered a domino effect. Higher costs, lower demand, and eventually, falling property values. But the flood zone crisis was only one layer, because the condo world was about to explode too, in a way that few predicted. After the Surfside tragedy in 2021, lawmakers introduced Senate Bill 4D, a regulation requiring older condo buildings to undergo structural integrity studies and set aside new financial reserves for major repairs. In theory, it made buildings safer. In practice, it shattered the market. Condo associations that had postponed maintenance for years suddenly faced bills of $20,000 to $80,000 per unit to meet the new rules. Monthly HOA dues tripled. Special assessments poured in like surprise tax bills. Older retirees who had finally paid off their mortgages were told they now owed tens of thousands more due immediately. And if they couldn't pay, the building could fall out of lending compliance, meaning new buyers couldn't get mortgages. That sent prices spiraling down. Units that once sold in days now sat on the market for months. Listings piled up. Discounts deepened. In Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and St. Petersburg, condos that fetched $300,000 in 2022 now struggle to get $240,000, even after multiple price cuts. Lenders, wary of new liabilities, began labeling certain buildings non-warrantable, meaning they could only be sold to cash buyers. And those cash buyers? They're negotiating like sharks. The result is a condo market divided in two, one half with full reserves and steady values, the other half collapsing under the weight of debt, fees, and fear. It's a slow-motion reckoning, and it's spreading. Institutional investors once made up 25% of property purchases in hot U.S. markets. They bought entire neighborhoods, converted homes to rentals, and fueled bidding wars that ordinary buyers couldn't match. Now, they're gone. Investor participation has plunged to under 6% of all transactions. Why? Because the math doesn't work anymore. Rental yields have collapsed below 4.5% in several key cities. Vacancies are rising. Short-term rentals are oversaturated. Reports suggest that in places like Cape Coral and Punta Gorda, homes once listed for $675,000 are now struggling to sell for $500,000. Some owners have cut prices by $100,000 or more just to attract one buyer. The Airbnb gold rush is over, and with investors cashing out, the safety net that once supported prices is gone. That leaves regular homeowners holding the bag, and it's heavy. But here's the kicker. This isn't isolated to one region anymore. The warning signs that started in the United States coastal cities are now echoing across the Sun Belt. In Texas, inventory surged. Dallas-Fort Worth listings jumped over 30%, Austin saw 13%, and Houston hit record highs. In Arizona, the average home now sits unsold for nearly 3 months. Phoenix's listings rose 36% year over year. Statewide, nearly 28% of all homes on the market have had at least one price cut. That's not seasonal fluctuation, that's stress. Mortgage rates hovering near 7% are giving buyers leverage they haven't had in years. Sellers are forced to negotiate, slashing prices, offering rate buy-downs, or paying closing costs outright. The power dynamic has flipped. For the first time since 2020, buyers control the tempo. And yet, even with lower sticker prices, many are still walking away after seeing the full picture of taxes, insurance, and fees. Because the real cost of ownership, the carrying cost, keeps climbing. Let's strip away the hype. Home ownership in 2025 isn't just about the purchase price, it's about everything that follows, the endless bills that come with the keys. Between property taxes, homeowners insurance, flood coverage, HOA dues, and maintenance, even modest homes can cost $800 to $1,500 more per month than the mortgage alone. Many buyers forget that when lenders qualify you, they don't always include those costs. So, people close deals thinking they can afford it, only to realize 6 months later they can't. That's when for sale signs start reappearing. And when tens of thousands of people hit that same wall at the same time, you don't get a correction, you get a wave. We saw it in 2008 with bad loans. We're seeing it now with bad math. The difference? This time it's not subprime mortgages. It's sky-high insurance, policy shocks, and stagnant wages. And it's building pressure fast. The first group, retirees on fixed income. Many of them bought their homes decades ago, confident they'd age in place. Now, their monthly costs rival what new buyers pay for mortgages. Some are being forced to sell, not for profit, but for survival. The second group, First-time buyers. They're getting squeezed out entirely. Even with price drops, financing plus insurance makes the math impossible. And the third group, small landlords. They entered the market during the pandemic boom, hoping to rent properties for passive income. But with falling rents and higher maintenance, they're facing negative cash flow. That's why we're seeing rising listings of investment homes and motivated sellers. And when that phrase, motivated seller, starts flooding listings across multiple states, that's not motivation, that's desperation. Here's how the dominoes fall. 1. Insurance premiums rise. Homeowners struggle to renew policies. 2. Carrying costs spike. People list their homes to escape the burden. 3. Inventory surges. Buyers have more choices, forcing sellers to cut prices. 4. Prices fall. Homeowners lose equity, lenders tighten, and investors pull back. 5. Demand cools further. The cycle repeats. 6. That's the anatomy of a quiet housing crash. 7. No headlines screaming, collapse. Just a steady erosion that leaves communities hollowed out. And while analysts debate whether this is a correction or a reset, the families facing triple insurance bills don't care what it's called. For them, it's personal. So if you're entering this market now, whether to buy, invest, or relocate, here's what you need to do. 1. Audit every cost upfront. Don't just look at the mortgage. Ask for the full breakdown. Insurance quotes, flood coverage, HOA fees, taxes, and pending assessments. 2. Research the building's reserves. If you're buying a condo, demand to see the structural reports and reserve balances. Buildings with underfunded reserves are financial traps. 3. Verify flood zone status. Even one map update can add thousands to your annual costs. Always confirm directly with FEMA's latest data. 4. Negotiate hard. In 2025, buyers hold leverage. Push for seller-paid buy-downs, closing credits, or 1 year of HOA dues included. 5. Don't chase speculation. Rumors suggest some investors are still flipping homes expecting a rebound, but the fundamentals don't support that yet. 6. Plan for worst-case scenarios. Assume insurance hikes and maintenance will continue to climb faster than inflation. Build a buffer. Smart buyers win in corrections because they prepare when others panic. Rumors, speculation, and reality online chatter is heating up. Some claim the government will intervene with new insurance subsidies or emergency homeowner relief. Others believe large investors are quietly buying distressed properties again. The truth? There's little hard evidence. Yet. Reports claim some hedge funds are scouting undervalued coastal properties, but nothing suggests a large-scale bailout or rebound in 2025. So take every inside tip with caution, because the last thing buyers need right now is more hype. The best move is staying grounded. Follow the data, not the noise. The bigger picture, lessons of a housing cycle history repeats, but never in the same way. The 2008 crash came from reckless lending and speculative flipping. The 2025 slide is coming from policy, insurance, and affordability. Slower, but just as dangerous. When ownership costs outpace wages, when policy changes punish long-term homeowners, and when investor money disappears overnight, the system bends. And when too many households reach their breaking point at once, the system breaks. That's the warning flashing right now across multiple U.S. cities. The next few years will test whether this country can reinvent its housing model, or if we'll keep repeating the same boom and bust cycle every decade. Final conclusion, the quiet warning. So where does that leave us? With truth hiding in plain sight. Housing markets don't collapse in a single day. They fade quietly, street by street, listing by listing. You don't see the moment it breaks until the for sale signs start multiplying and the neighbors you've known for years start packing up. That's happening right now in parts of the United States. It's not sensational, it's slow, it's subtle, and it's spreading. But the lesson is clear. The real threat isn't the crash itself. It's ignoring the signals before it hits. So if you're buying, selling, or just watching, remember this: markets recover, but those who prepare recover first. And when the next wave comes, the difference between surviving and sinking will come down to one thing: how early you saw it coming.